So this is session 7, the last in-school session. It's very exciting. It's really meant to be about kind of reflecting on the year and like culminating the activities that you've done with the students. And to get them to think about the transition to high school and support networks when they get there as well. So through your relationships with them, they built some support this year. How can we transfer that to high school and help them do that? So we're just going to go through this today and go through the activities. Okay, so on page 2, we have our session at a glance. So we'll start with an opening, which we do every time. Then we'll do an activity called High School Visions, where they'll create a vision board for what they kind of want their high school experience to look like. Then we'll do the Who I Am t-shirts, just take a break. We'll do an activity with Jenga called Building Support. And then a final activity at the end of a reflection of the whole year. So you can see step by step on page 3. But we'll go right to page 4 and jump into it. So in the opening, of course, we kind of recap the last session and then talk about the norms and how you've have been or haven't been staying true to them. And kind of remind them about what we did last session, which was the values, roles, and managing impressions sessions. And then you get into high school vision. So they've found out their high schools now? Most of them, sure. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll add to that. So most students have gone online and made that high school selection, but there are some students that have not done it yet. So you will have some students that won't have a true assignment, but they'll know where they want to go.
How does that work at this point? Are they all filled?
No.
Are they getting plugged?
No, so all the high schools are not filled, but more of yours, so probably like a School of Cleveland Science and Medicine will be full now because a lot of students are interested in attending that school. So some of those schools will be filled, but the other schools, they won't. So students still have an opportunity to enroll, of course, until the session actually starts in the fall.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So not only have they selected their school will have confirmed that they're going to attend.
So most students, some students will have that, but some students, if they did not go online, as part of what we went over for the high school choice fair, that assignment hasn't been designated for them yet.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And you said that the teachers will have a list?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the teachers will receive the list for their students, so they'll be helping you all to share with the students where they're going to be going. But the students that have selected their high schools, they know it from their report cards.
Okay. So for those students, we figured the first thing they want to talk to you about is where they're going to high school. So that's how we're going to start the session off. So on page 5, there's this, we know you learned about where you're going to high school, so you can phrase that how you want based on some students will know, some won't. And kind of go around the group and ask each student to share their plans for the next year, congratulate them on their choices. And so anyone who hasn't selected yet, maybe encourage them to go online and do so.
How would we manage any students that may not have been accepted into the school that they chose if they have questions about that?
I would say, go ahead.
Yeah, so a student, they can talk to their teacher about that. So the teacher probably won't know the definite answer as to why, but they'll be able to help them figure out what happened. Mm-hmm.
And they should have selected multiple choices when they went online, right? So
Yeah, they have.
So they should have that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Page 5.
Okay, so once they've gone around and shared what their plans are, then we want to kind of talk about how it's important anytime you enter a new stage in your life to kind of have set up some goals or kind of envision what you want that to look like, and how to apply the knowledge they've learned about themselves this year in the next phase of their lives. So that's when we get into the vision board. And before we do that, though, we also are going to provide them with more information about their high schools. So they've received this at the high school choice fair, and you guys had a draft of this during one session with them, talking about all the schools. So we're going to have copies of these, about 5 per cohort for the next session. So once you're talking about high schools, they can refer back to this and kind of remind themselves of what is offered at their high school and learn more about it. And then Audrey has also put together this and asked the counselors from each high school to give more information. So this is, you're gonna have a packet of information from each high school that kind of goes into different programs that are available at the high school, who contact people are there, and kind of what the function of that program is. So every student will receive one of these packets, and they'll be able to share these during the session, just to learn more about the school that they're gonna end up at, or where they're still going to select to try and go to, okay?
Can I share something about that? Sure. Go ahead and ask your question, sir.
So will those be customized if someone has selected Glenville and gotten in? Will the student's name be on it, or we'll just have
No.
a whole series of them?
Yeah, every student will get all information about all of the high schools.
I get it.
So it'll be a booklet similar to this one, but about
Because I had 2 students, and the last session, I had a brand new student who transferred from Euclid. So I made sure that he had a tracker, and I made a folder for him. And right away, I was impressed how he told the other students, be quiet, listen to our mentors. And they went, whoa.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of the Ginn Institute, and Mr. Moses, his homeroom teacher, and I both agreed. And so he said to the student, have you thought of blah, blah, blah? And he said, you should go. And he took, Mr. Moses took my thoughts because of the way the student really was becoming a leader.
Okay.
And he was brand new.
Yeah.
First of all, he said, why am I here? What is this? And then I explained it to him, and then he just switched gears, and it was amazing.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I'm just gonna share, so Molly showed, the back of the sheet, it also talks about sports on here, and then about any after-school programming the school has, and then last about if the school has internships or externships. So it'll be a lot more information for the students from this sheet than they'll probably find in that booklet. So it'll be a good resource.
So is that the addendum?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
This would be the addendum, yep. So we'll have copies for each student of that. And then as part of the True2U tracker, we wanted to get them starting to think about like who they might connect to at the high school. So that addendum will really be helpful for this. So once they've kind of gone through the book again and the addendum, then you want to put their attention towards the tracker. And then on the blue page, they'll fill in people I'll get to know at my high school, and then programs I'll connect with at my high school. So they'll go through this information in these booklets and then put it on their tracker. So select 1 or 2 or 3 for each of those categories. Okay. At this point too, most of them should be able to fill in where they're going to high school on their tracker. So on the green page, they can do that.
Oh, let me stop you for a second.
Sure.
So where in here are we talking about the blue page? Kind of keep me organized if you will.
Sure.
That's not page 5.
Page 5, yes.
We're still on 5.
Yes, we're still on 5. So first let's add our high schools and more information to our True2U tracker. So you pass out each tracker and a pen, and then they fill in their high school on the green page, and then they fill in the information on the blue page after they've gone through those booklets. Okay. So then once everyone has had a chance to kind of go through that and you kind of circulated around helping them do that, if we move to page 6, then we want kind of students to share out what they've learned. So we ask them, each student to share at least one person or one program they added to their tracker and explain how that person or program will help them be successful and why they want to connect with them. So if they're really interested in the art programs, they can talk about art. If they want to join football, talk about that and talk about their passion for that. Okay? Okay, so then you go on to this individual activity. So still on page 6, and we say, now that we know even more about our high schools, we're ready to think about our vision for the next 4 years. So what we want that experience to look like. So they've gained more information, now we're gonna go create this vision board. So each student will receive a vision board, okay? And here, we're gonna also pass out materials. So each cohort will receive this packet of materials. And this includes these glitter sticks, which I'm sure the teachers will love. Glue sticks, stickers, like inspirational stickers, and then also a packet of different clip art. And you can kind of spread this out, you know, and they can kind of choose what they want. So this is for the whole group, but they can choose which pictures they want. So we have some theater pictures, library, some about science, just different things they might experience. So they can come up and kind of, you lay these out up front, each of them has this, and then you can explain to them that they can create this however they want. They can write words on it, they can use information that they gathered for their tracker, just something that how they want high school to look like for them. So they're actually visualizing what that's going to look like.
Oh, and then these are the stickers, sorry.
So some of these like kind of get it done, attitude is everything, stuff like that to inspire them. Okay.
So is there just like one packet for the whole cohort, or is there?
Right, so there's one packet of this, which includes the stickers and the clip art.
Okay.
And then,
So they need to share.
yeah, they need to share this stuff. They'll each get their own board though.
Right.
Your cohort is the group, like of 12
Yeah.
students, okay.
As well. So there are, within this packed thing of clip art, there's 4 different sets of pictures in there. So each of these, you should have 4 copies of each of those within that, so they hopefully will be able to find something, find a few things that relate.
Within each container, you're saying?
Yeah, so like this,
That's 4 complete sets?
yes.
Okay, got it.
So we give about 30 minutes to do that, and like they'll have their markers too, and kind of however they want to make that. And you can walk around in the system with that as needed. Then after that, so still on page 6, we go into the large group presentation and discussion. So we ask within the group everyone to kind of stand up and share about their vision board. And then have the group clap after each presentation. So these are their hopes for what they hope high school will look like and what they want it to be. And so we want them to share that with the group and then kind of give encouragement around that. We want to thank everyone for sharing their hopes and vision. And then as a large group, you can discuss what do you think is important to do in order to make these visions become realities. Okay, so these are discussion questions on page 6. And what can we do to get back to our goals and visions if we happen to experience a setback? So we've set this goal for ourselves. How can we kind of maintain that path even if things don't go exactly as we planned? Okay, so then after that, you close the activity. You can say something, anytime we move into a new phase in our lives, it's important that we set goals and envision what we want the new phase to look like. Then we can make decisions and act based on what those goals and visions are. Any questions about this? Okay. Great. Okay, so then on page 7 is the next activity. These are the Who I Am t-shirts. And basically this activity is meant to help the students move information they've learned about themselves and they've recorded on the orange page of their tracker onto their Who I Am t-shirt. So these are what the Who I Am t-shirts look like, and they'll wear these at the culminating event. So it says, I can make it happen, and then on the back it says, because, and then it says, I am. And then what they'll do is we'll give you fabric markers, and they'll be able to write in the different traits they've learned about themselves on these t-shirts, okay? So, but, you know, we want to assist them in doing that too.
What happens if they decide to write, I am Stephen Curry, because we have a kid obsessed with Stephen Curry. And when we did the other exercise, I mean, it was like, I am, and every answer was Stephen Curry. And it's like, you know, so I envision a couple of them
So it has 3 plan Bs that are all the same.
saying, I am cool, I am, you know, just things that have no relationship
Yeah.
to the actual activity.
Well, I mean, if you know that about your students, you might want to like sit down with those certain students and you can help them with this. Or, I mean, you know, some students may even need assistance like actually writing on the shirt, so you can help them do that. I mean, we can't control everything, you know, but just kind of try and direct them to this as much as possible. And like say, you could even say, I am, you know, and have them figure out what their most important strength is, the one they like the most, and then just have them transfer one of that to the t-shirt. I mean, and these will be worn at the culminating event, so you can also tell them like, you know, Mr. Sendon Graham will be there and he'll want to see these, and you know, you want to make sure that, you know, we've been doing all year what we've learned. So,
Appropriateness.
Yes, and
Yes.
the CEO will be there. So CEO Gordon will be there as well, so you can tell them that to kind of help the student as well. But also a suggestion that I would share, just to have them, okay, think about the ones that you want to use first, and then give them a minute to think, and then give them the t-shirt, or have them write it out on a sheet of paper and then give them the t-shirt. So you kind of have an
I like
opportunity
that.
to view it
Yeah.
and then have them put that on there.
Could you show us the back again? Because look like the bottom two said something just a little bit different.
yeah.
Okay, so you got 3 IMs.
So it follows along with the tracker.
Yeah.
And then,
Then I am A is from that role activity you did. So when they figured out I'm a brother or whatever.
yeah,
And then I value is from the last
the
time
value.
too.
I was thinking of the list of values. We have those posters.
Yeah. Right. So that's where they should draw all of this information from the activities they've done throughout the year and which is listed on their tracker.
And I made the suggestion
Uh-huh.
to stick cardboard or something that Molly and Audrey are going to put in the thing, is you stick cardboard inside the t-shirt because you do not want the colors to bleed from the back to the front of the t-shirt.
Yeah. So we'll make sure you have a material that the students can do that with.
Good point.
Yeah. And then these are the fabric markers. So each cohort, the small group, will have one pack of these. So, you know, like with the vision board, you can kind of lay these out and they can pick what different colors they want to use. They could use a different color for each square, or if they want it all in the same, that's up to them. Okay.
I don't think bleeding through is going to be a huge concern. I had kids painting t-shirts.
Well,
And it didn't bleed through. I just,
Okay.
I don't know.
depending about the amount of pressure that's used as
That's
an
fine.
art teacher, and it also gives it some stability
Sure.
too.
Well, we'll have it there, you know, if you need it, you
Yeah.
can use it. Also on here, I made a note that somewhere around the tag area, we need to have them write their initials or some way that we can identify these later as theirs. Because once you complete this, then we'll collect it back and they'll stay at the school so that everyone has it similar to the May event.
So what did you just say about identifying them?
So have them write their initials or their name by the tag.
Anybody can have different, same initials.
Yeah, so some kind of distinguishable,
Right, I think their first initial, last name.
yeah, something.
And are they gonna be separated by schools and cohorts or whatever?
So
So
the schools all ordered however many t-shirts they needed and the sizing, so we're gonna get that to the school and then they're gonna be asked to kind of separate by cohort.
Right, so I meant at the event, how the kids gonna get the t-shirts?
Oh, they'll get them when they're at their schools.
So they'll get them before they.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they'll stay at the school, so they'll come to the event wearing them.
Mom, where did you get your jacket?
I ordered them, I think these are from Amazon.
Okay.
They had good reviews too. Okay, so yeah, you fill them out and then you collect the t-shirts back and make sure we have those. All right, so any questions on that? Okay, so then now we're on to page 8. So then you take a break. And then we're going to move into another game of Jenga. So we use these in session 5, and then we're going to go back to them. So this is called Building Supports, and we want students to think about the importance of having good support and having good relationships, and so we're going to use this kind of as a metaphor for that.
You're failing miserably.
I didn't pick a very good one. Okay. So while they're on break, you'll want to set up the Jenga for them. And again, there should be enough Jenga so that you can divide your small group or cohort into 2 groups so you have roughly like 5 students working with each game so they can really get to engage with it. And so you have this set up, and then the introduction is here at the bottom of page 8. Do you remember playing Jenga during our session in February? Today we're going to use the Jenga games again, but this time in a slightly different way. So you're going to have, as mentors, you're going to have cards. Let me grab my card. I'll take a look.
It's these things that you printed off here, I think.
Yeah, I sent them out.
Like these.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think
Oh, they're really
I have
good.
There we go. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. So each cohort will get a little bag like this, and it'll contain 2 sets of cards. The first one you're going to do with the students is called Crumbling Supports. Okay? And so you go through each of the cards, you read them out, and then you talk about, once they've completed the little step in the activity, you talk about like why, like what's important about not doing that or whatnot. So for example, the first one is skipping class, you remove 2 blocks. Okay? So then one of the students, you have the full tower, would have to remove 2 blocks based on that card, and they can't take from the top layer, so they really have to kind of work through it. And then we talk about the possible ramifications of the scenario. So you can ask something like, this is on page 9, what might happen if someone did this? So what are the ramifications of skipping class? So you get behind, you might break, your relationship with your teacher might suffer as a result, you get whatever, things like that, okay? So you read that one, they pull that out, you talk about the ramifications. The next one is interrupting someone when they're speaking, remove 2 blocks. So then the next student removes 2 blocks. And then you talk about the ramifications of doing that. And so you go through all of these cards, basically until the tower falls, or you go through all the cards. The tower will fall before you get through all of them, probably. And so once they take the blocks out, they just put them to the side and you just kind of keep going through. So then, once the tower's done, okay.
If the tower falls before we do the blocks, do you want us to continue and talk about the other cards?
You
I
can.
guess it depends on time.
Yeah, it depends on time. It depends on like if both groups have fallen too. So you can kind of like see how it goes. You could kind of like, I would kind of just probably move on if it were me, honestly. But if you feel like there's some that you didn't get to and you really want to talk about it, then you can talk about it.
When you talk about support, so you were saying that this Jenga thing shows that a child should have all the support that they need?
Well, it's,
I'm just saying, assuming, is this like life or what they have to be successful So does the Jenga, I'm just trying to figure out what the Jenga,
Represent.
as far as support, is that your family and all the things you need to be successful in life? Because it won't be a perfect Jenga to begin with. Just something that occurred to me. So I'm just saying so maybe we could set up, if you had all the things that you need to be successful, this is what it would look like. And then say, if you don't do these things, even with those things that are already there, if you don't take ownership of the things that you want to do, and if you go to school and you skip class, then we pull those out, even with all that support, that still may not
Yeah, well,
make you successful. I just don't
no,
get
yeah,
it.
no, I
Puts holes in it, puts holes in it.
well, the thing is too is that
There's
we want, yeah, there's a second piece to this, but then also we want the students, we don't want to set it up too much because we want the students to start thinking about, well, what does this represent? Like, one of the questions at the end is to get them to reflect on, like, well, what do these blocks actually represent?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well,
Yeah, and you'll,
Yeah.
choices. And she said consequences. And so your choices, the consequence of skipping a class, not doing homework, what have you, being targeted.
I just think we're using the wrong word, maybe in support. Maybe, I'm just saying.
well, there,
Foundation.
Yeah,
right.
I'm just saying that this is, I think we just need to say, we're just gonna use this as as just something that we're gonna use to demonstrate choices and consequences, not saying that it's a support system. Are you following me?
Yeah,
So, because what only thing I'm thinking of, if you're saying that, when we use the word support, it sounds like, we know that there are a lot of different facets of families and people have different things, so I don't want them to think that because theirs is not like this, it's gonna be a little imperfect. So they are, even though they're going to school and whatever else, this just represents something that's gonna be, here, and if you pull those out, it will diminish you'll lose something.
Right.
So we don't want this to represent anything other than just a tool.
right, so this is, well, if we get to the building supports, I think you'll see, like, these are all about kind of individual choices you can make.
I agree with the choice part.
Right,
It's just-
and so, but it's also about, like, relationships too. So, some of the, like, no matter what your situation, you can be a good friend. You can fully listen to someone when you
Right,
speak,
that's
things like that.
As long as we're just using the blocks as a symbol or tool to demonstrate that, and not anything that reflects on their own personal.
Yeah, no, it's not, I mean, it's
Okay,
not any kind of
I
like,
just wanted to ask that because, to make sure I was
okay,
clear on it.
sure, yeah.
And at session, I think it was session 3, we had all the students in the circle, and it was one of the best ones because the students had to come up with their own interpretation. And the question was, if you know that your best friend or one of your friends has not been attending school,
Oh, yes, I remember.
and they remembered that and they responded so positively, and they said, what would your choice be? To call them, to visit, to make sure, to find out why. And they also took it, as I would want somebody, if I were going to school, they really, it resonated.
Oh, no, that part,
And
that's not the part I was.
no, but
was
this ties
questioning.
in.
Yeah, that wasn't the
Well,
part I was questioning. It
so-
was just the blocks. That's all.
Sure.
That's all I was.
Yeah, I mean, they just represent like decisions you can make
Okay,
or.
that's what I'm saying. I just want to couch it the right way. When
Yeah.
the word support, to me, just conjured up another
Okay.
definition. So
It's kind of just life, you start making bad decisions, you start skipping class, you go down
Right,
the road,
that part I
track, it's gonna crack. You're just gonna have nothing but
yeah.
junk to work with, so don't, that's the whole purpose here, right? Discuss these things.
Right.
I don't
Roll
think
them
the
out.
kids are gonna look at it as anything other than the game, because they all knew the game. They all loved the game. And I don't think they're gonna see it until we ask them to reflect. I'm not sure you have to tell them what it represents, I think that that's.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's,
No, yeah, I mean, and part of it
that
is.
word just threw me off. That's all there.
Okay. I mean, part of it is we want them to do that
They do the
reflection.
reflection.
Like, we don't want to tell them.
That part is good.
Yeah.
But
We don't even want to tell them, like, you don't even have to tell them the name of the activity or anything.
Have
You
we
just
gotten to
kind
that part on here
Right.
yet where the reflection is?
No, because,
That's,
so,
that's fine, as long as, that was just my only question.
okay, sure, okay. So page 9, so once you've done like the crumbling supports piece, then you go into, once like the tower has fallen, then you talk about kind of, we can rebuild the tower. So then you go into building supports. These are different set of cards. And so they're starting kind of with a blank slate now. So the first one is attending all classes on time. You can add 3 blocks. So they can take 3 blocks and put them on their tower. Then you would read, being a good friend, add 3 blocks. The next student would take 3 blocks on the side and start building the tower. And you go through all of these. Fully listening to someone when they speak. You can add 1 block. I'm just going to give you a few more. Turning in all assignments on time, add 3 blocks. And then as you go through those again, you talk about what are the consequences of that too. So you're building yourself up there. You're building your relationships. You're building, you know, a good foundation for yourself. Okay?
I like the kinetic, the fact that they're so physically active, and the kinetic portion of that is so positive. And when I was looking at my screen and reading these, I just thought it was excellent. You two guys, whoever developed this, kudos to you.
So you keep going through all of those cards, and then you can talk about possible ramifications. So I'm in the middle of page 9 here. As the cards are read, discuss the possible ramifications to the scenarios. For example, for the card, building good relationships with adults who support you. Some possible ramifications might be you would have more people to get advice from. Adults could know more people who could give you more opportunities. You could learn from their experiences. Okay, so just kind of conversations around those different ideas. Whatever is the card itself is kind of bringing up in the discussion. So continue to read the cards until the tower is completely built or you run out of cards. And then after that, they can put the Jenga games away. Okay, so you've gone through both sets of cards. And then once the Jenga games are away, you can come back and do your large group discussion. So we're in the middle of the page here. So you want to bring the cohort back together. So for the towers, you've separated them because they can each have time to interact. Now you're going to bring them back. And you ask, what do you think the Jenga towers represent in your life? So that's your first question. So some possible answers: support, a good foundation for success, happiness, reaching goals or visions, and any others too. So they might have some other ideas, and that's totally fine. Okay, and then so that's the towers, and then what do individual blocks represent? So that's the towers are the big picture, but the individual actions that you take with the blocks, right? So that could be small actions that have larger ramifications, relationships, so relationships with individuals rather than like that full support network, or other ideas too. Okay. And then you can talk about why is having a good support system important to success. So how do they benefit from that? And then what are actions we can take as individuals to try and build a good support system for ourselves? Okay. So these cards are about individual actions and then how they can build or kind of crumble what's going on. Okay. I'm on the next page now, page 10. So you're leading into them trying to build that good support system for themselves. And then you can refer back as to, earlier we looked at programs and people that will be at your high schools next year. How can you engage with them to help build a good support system for yourselves? Okay? So referring back to, the activity they did with the tracker and the addendum. And then they get their trackers out again. And then there's one more box on the blue page that they didn't fill in earlier, which is people they already know who's going to support them. So then you ask the students, is there anyone in your life now that you think will be able to help you help support you as you make your high school visions become realities. Okay? And they could put one person, they could put multiple people, it's up to them as to like what they feel comfortable with, okay? And so then they can write that in here. So now, earlier they completed these, now they've completed that.
Can I add something?
Sure.
It may be a good idea, I know we usually give the students little trackers and then we take them back. I would let them keep it, just so you aren't going back and forth to your bin to find them, or have them slide them under their desk and just keep it there and then, okay, pick up your tracker, so that you guys won't have to keep going back to the box.
So any other questions on the building supports, the Jenga piece? Okay. So then the last activity is, we're on page 10, True2U reflections. So the goal of this activity is for students and mentors to reflect on what they have learned from their experiences in the True2U program. So in your cohort packet, you will get this. And this is a True2U reflections poster for the whole cohort. And then these are, I'm gonna have to do a little folding while you're there, but these will break into individual note cards. So each person in the cohort will get one of these note cards, including the mentors. And the goal of this activity is to really get people to think about what are they taking away from the program. And then you're gonna have like a collective representation on here of what this program has meant to you and the students. So each person gets a note card, and then they're gonna need markers or pens or something. Okay. And then the introduction is here on the bottom of page 10. We've all learned something about ourselves through this program, mentors and students. Just as it's important to set goals and visions for ourselves when we enter a new time in our lives, it's important to take a moment to reflect and think about what we've learned. So we're going to hand out a note card, and I want you to write at least one important thing you have learned as a result of True2U. Once everyone has done that, we'll each share and then glue or tape them on to this poster. Okay? So you give people a few minutes with their note cards. You can assist them, you can walk around. If they need help writing it down or like talking through it, you can help them do that. And then once all the students have had a chance to write something down, maybe the mentors are standing up at the front with this in their hands, something like that. And then have each student one at a time stand up and share what they've written. And then as soon as they share, they can come up to the front, and then you'll have these glue sticks, or there might be tape in your bins as well, and they can affix it to the poster. Okay, so as each person's sharing, this is getting bigger and bigger and growing. And then once all the note cards are attached to the poster, you can talk to the teacher about trying to find a place where you can hang this in the classroom so they can have a reminder of like what everyone's taking away from this experience. And we really do want the mentors to do these note cards too. I think that'll be pretty neat for the students to hear. And so you can close the activity. So now I'm in the middle of page 11. We've all learned a lot about ourselves and each other through the True2U program. Thank you all for sharing about yourselves and what you've learned. We'll see you in May, but we truly want to thank you for welcoming us to your school. We hope you've learned a lot about yourselves. We've enjoyed getting to know you. You all have a lot of potential. Know yourself, follow your interests, work hard, and treat people right. So, feel free to say what you want, if that's an idea. And then also, we have a gift that you can give the students. So each cohort will get a collection of these journals. And so there's a journal for each student. And so you can hand that out at the end of this activity. And so you can say, here's a small gift you can use throughout the next months to help setting goals for yourself and reflecting on your lives. And so they'll each get one of these to take home. Okay. Any questions on that activity? Hopefully that'll be a nice closeout for you. And then we do the so what, so what, now what, just a recap of the session, which activity they liked most and what they learned from the activity, why is it important to do these things, and then you can share with the students what they can expect at the culminating event. So that's working with Seb and Graham, he'll be back. There'll be an interactive, fun-filled team building experience. And then also representatives from their high school will be there, so they'll be able to meet with them and talk to students and counselors and have lunch with them and learn
So
more.
where's this gonna be?
It's going to be at East Professional Development Center, which is on East 79th and Superior.
Must be a big place then for all these kids,
It
right?
is.
It is a former high school.
An old high school, yeah. Yeah.
79th and
Superior.
What was the name of it? Name?
East
Technical.
East Professional Center.
It's the old East High School. So if you put it in Google Maps, you have to put East.
Candace is a big, that's the one where the roof fell in when I was a parent. Remember that?
Yeah.
So that's, I know it's a kind of a bang negative thing, but it was a lot of press, so it may help you remember.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it was a few years ago. I can't remember what year it was.
I remember seeing that on the news. That was really something.
I know, so I know it's a negative thing, but I know it kind of helps you bring me back to where that location. But it's a beautiful building now.
Yeah,
and They're
wonderful.
repurposed it, they closed it and repurposed it for professional development, so it had a good story at the end.
Wonderful.
Nice day. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there will be an updated Navient sheet in your folders for the students. So this, if the students needed to go back and finish a strength, they'll have it on this sheet now. If they needed the career key, it'll be on here, and then also the multiple intelligence. We did have an issue with that one, so there were some schools that didn't get to do that assessment because it's the server or the program was offline. So you'll get updated sheets in your folders as well for these. And
So
so,
do we have some level of confidence that the schools have actually had the kids all finish this?
I can say that, yes, because I've gone through.
Sounds like years ago, they just didn't do it.
Children absent, so that
Yeah, they'll
means
be in your
Yeah.
packets.
even if they were absent, they were able to go back and do it?
Yeah, so they're even happening
Yes,
now.
okay.
So yeah, so you
So
still may have a few
everybody's
that won't if they're absent or something like that.
Most of
That'll
our
still
kids-
happen. Yeah.
Most of our kids had none of it.
What school are you
Lewis Agassiz.
in? Okay. Yeah.
So they should, so
So
that
they're
way you
doing
can use
makeup work
it,
right now?
you can use it to fill in the tracker and they can do it for their shirt, so you'll have a copy of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is there a portion there where they can do the little catching up on the things that they weren't able to fill in? Because I know we did that last time, had them complete part of the things on there.
Well, when you're doing the t-shirt activity or when they have their trackers, you can kind of walk around and,
So we'll have this just in case they have gaps. We
Mhm.
can use
Right.
this sheet to then fill in the gaps. Okay, cool.
Being able to give them their folder with all of their worksheets and the Graham Stedman book at this class session.
yes. So I think it's time that they can take those home if they choose to.
After this session.
Yes, they can. Mhm. I mean, if the teacher requests that they continue to keep in the classroom for the rest of the year, that's okay, but,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Mhm.
But those are their materials, so they will get it eventually, for sure.
But they'll get the journal for sure to take.
The journal, yes. Did you have something?
Yeah, our school had exams in April, so we didn't do session 6, and we were going to combine those sessions this time. Will the materials from session 6 be at the school?
Yes, so Harvey Rice,
Yeah.
we're sending everything from last time too.
Great.
And Lewis Agassiz as well. So you can go through the curriculum.
So
I
we
would
should just pick
choose-
what we think.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
I would
add
pick and
what it
choose
is.
what
Yeah.
you think is
Jam it
best.
in there.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But,
Yeah, it's a good
like, for example, for the
We'll make sure the
t-shirts.
t-shirts get done.
Yeah, well, and for this, they needed to have the values and the roles and stuff, so that was
So
from the
we
last.
have to do that as well.
Or at least talk about it. I mean, maybe you don't have to go through everything, but whatever you think is. Okay, any other questions?
Can you ask our school not to put us in the computer lab? I'll sit in the hallway, I'll do anything, but that computer lab was just horrible. There was no place for kids to work. They sat around in these long rows. I mean, it was a nightmare.
Did you all have a different location before that?
Where, but they, well, it was, yeah, it just, they had, the specialist was in there, but they had to create another classroom or something, so
Yeah, I'll check on it.
And Molly and Andre, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Being back in the class with Lois and that gentleman, with my comments, they're really good stuff.
Good.
We tried the library, but then we got moved to the gym because there were some officials in the library, and we're talking about switching gears. Doing what you can with what you got. And so, this is excellent.
So do we get a set of cards or we just wait for the packet?
I'm sorry.
Get a set of cards, we just wait for the packet?
It'll be in school for you. I did email them out, so you got
That's
that.
my hands, I have to print off.
Okay.
I was in
Hi, how are you?
So you talking about the students or?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for people to work.